Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. On the broadcast today, Adam Young. He's the school superintendent of the White Pine County School District, and he's got a problem, a school that dates back to 1913. It's here for the whole show on an all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
When in Carson City, Nevada Newsmakers records in the conference room of the Nevada Builders Alliance. Coverage of the 2025 legislative session is brought to you by Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you. NV Energy, proudly serving Nevada, providing electricity to 2.4 million electric customers. The Retail Association of Nevada, looking out for business. And by Story County, helping build Nevada's future.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's development company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
Fantastic cocktails and delicious food. It's a good time to eat. Over 500 hot slots, plus electronic table games.
It's a good time to play.
Player rewards and big-time jackpots.
It's a good time to win.
Ooh, your good times are tamarack.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're delighted to welcome to the program for the first time Adam Young. He is the school superintendent for the White Pine County School District. It is a pleasure to have you on the program, sir.
Thank you so much for having me. It is beautiful to be here on a nice, crisp Monday morning.
Okay, well, we can debate the crisp part, but that's okay. You have a great, for those listening on the radio or audio podcast, you're not going to see this, but you are behind a great background here. White Pine Portrait of a Leader. Explain that so that people aren't wondering.
Absolutely. We believe that leadership is where it lies as far as developing future leaders, future individuals for our society. It's one of our theories of action in our school district. So when we say a portrait of a leader, that doesn't mean teachers. It could mean teachers. That doesn't necessarily mean administrators. It means every single person in our community, and especially students. We really believe that every single student has the capacity to be a leader. And so we strive with everything that we have to focus on helping them develop for them what that looks like to be a leader, whether it's in the classroom, on the sports field, in the music realm, in the CTE realm, all of those things. We really just strive to help students understand how they can lead and what it looks like.
All right, so for those that are not aware, give us a little sense of Ely and White Pine County, because it seems like it's going through a bit of a boom right now.
Yeah, so White Pine County is on the far eastern side of our great state, borders Utah on the east, Lincoln County on the south, Elko County on the north, and Eureka County on the west. And the main community hub in White Pine is Ely. Ely's a community with about 5,000 to 6,000 residents. But we also have Ruth, McGill, Baker, and a scattering of a couple really, really remote types of areas. The county population as a whole is only about 10,000 people. So we're very rural, very remote, we are 3 hours from the nearest Walmart, which would be located in Elko. And we really love to refer to ourselves as the middle of everywhere. Some individuals would say the middle of nowhere, but we try to brand that in the entire county, not just the school district, as the middle of everywhere, because you got to drive through Ely to get to anywhere important. That's what we say anyway.
I think that's a great slogan. So how many kids are in the school district at this point?
Yes, we have about 1,300 students. We serve pre-K all the way up through seniors. And we really take pride in a couple of things in White Pine. Number one is our pre-K. We've expanded our access to early learning for students over the last 4 or 5 years so that we try to get as many students into our pre-K as possible. Our preschool teachers really do an amazing job of serving students. We have an elementary school in Ely, which is David E. Norman. David E. Norman has a STEAM academy and is a governor's designated STEM school. And they have this really beautiful model of choice-based learning that happens on Monday afternoons. Students stay late by volunteer and choose all of these different types of clubs to participate in. And then they come on their own on Fridays as well. We're a 4-day school week, so students don't have to come on Fridays. But at David E. Norman, we have about a third of the student body who shows up on Friday to engage in these hands-on, inductive, kind of problem-based types of learning experiences, and they just have an amazing time. We have an element. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No. You go ahead. I didn't want
I
to.
was just going to talking through some of our schools. We have a school in McGill. This McGill Elementary has about 130 students, and they are extremely leadership focused. Every single student in that school has a role that student is expected to carry out every single day. And it's one of those schools where you walk into it and you go, oh my gosh, I want my child to go to this elementary school. It is phenomenal. We have a middle school in Ely. All of our elementary school students funnel up to White Pine Middle School. This is one of the schools that we're looking to replace. It's a 1913 vintage and just has a lot of challenges structurally. But again, students just have such a wonderful opportunity to do some problem-based and hands-on learning when they go to White Pine Middle School. White Pine High School is another governor's designated STEM school and is well known throughout our state for having the highest career and technical education offerings of any school our size. We have about 400 students in that school. Those offerings consist of culinary, auto technology, a diesel technology partnership with Great Basin College, an electrical partnership with Great Basin College, welding, construction trades, IT, computer science, future teachers, law enforcement, just a huge opportunity of trade types of learning for our students to engage in at that school. And then out in Lund, we have a K through 12 school. And then we have a very small one-room schoolhouse out in Baker, Nevada, that serves students who live in the Snake Valley, whether they live in Nevada or in Utah.
Okay, so let me ask you a couple of things here. Robinson Mine, that's located in McGill?
Robinson Mine is located just outside of Ruth.
Oh, Ruth, okay.
And yep. Just so it's about 7 or 8 miles from Ely. Robinson Mine is a copper mine. And it has a life projection up to about 2034 at this point in time, and is one of our fabulous partners. We appreciate working with them a lot, and they are the main employer in the county. They employ the most number of individuals.
And their former head is now the head of the Nevada Mining Association.
That's correct. Amanda Hilton is a White Pine grad from back in about my vintage in the mid 90s or so. We're just incredibly proud of her and the work that she's done with Robinson and then now with the Nevada Mining Association.
All right, so let's talk about White Pine Middle School. You said it dates back to the 1930s?
1913, before
13.
World War I. Yes, 1913 is when that building opened its doors. And you know, we all know this, schools that were built in the 70s and 80s weren't built for the types of challenges that exist today, let alone one built in 1913. So yeah, we have three flights of stairs that students have to navigate every day, a gym floor that's failing, and then some structural deficiencies that just really make the whole school problematic from a safety standpoint. That's one of the things that I really worry about as a superintendent every single night. Um, and then, the problem is anytime you get into those walls, you've got to deal with all of the asbestos abatement, which becomes very, very expensive. And then you've got to bring everything that's not up to code, which means that even a minor renovation of $1 million or $2 turns into a 15 or $20 million project by the time that you address all of those other issues.
All right. So what is the price tag that you're looking at if you come to the state, which you are, to be able to rehabilitate this school? And would it, in fact, actually be cheaper to build a new school?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's one that comes up a lot. White Pine Middle School is located on Main Street in downtown White Pine. It is iconic. It used to be White Pine High School up until about 1995. It's the school that I graduated from. And so it has a lot of sentimental value. And yeah, from the exterior, our custodial crew and our maintenance crew have done a terrific job of trying to keep it operational and as safe as they possibly can. To your point, our limited capital funds that we have are spent on projects that kind of just barely keep the doors open and kind of keep it habitable and safe for our students. And so, as we've done our analysis, the cost of retrofitting and renovating that school is almost the same as the cost of just starting from scratch. And so, what we're really looking at is replacing not only White Pine Middle School, but also the David E. Norman campus that I mentioned earlier, which is a 1909 vintage. It's even older than the 1913 middle school, and consolidating those two schools into one campus, which would be housed on land that we already own near White Pine High School. The total price tag that we estimate is upwards of $90 million. And just to highlight how that's changed, in the last legislative session, when we were also asking for some support, the price tag at that time was about $60 million. And we all know what's happened with inflation and now with some of the other federal policy issues going on. It's hard to predict how that price tag is going to change within the next couple of years. But upwards of 90 million to replace those two schools and then move our students to a new location.
All right, so that begs the big question, which is, with the current economic situation, both in the country and in Nevada, what has been the response to your pleas for help here?
Yeah, another excellent question and one at the forefront of people's minds. So, in the last session and in previous attempts to secure funding for this project, we really kind of approached things from the general fund perspective, asking for some type of an appropriation in combination with some of the reserves that we have available here locally, which are not nearly enough to cover the scope of the project. In this session, we have approached things a little bit of a different way. AB 224, which is Assembly Member Erica Mosca's bill, uh, approaches this problem from the state's capital improvement fund, from a bonding perspective, bonding capacity at the state level. We are already at the tax cap here locally. Our voters have approved a 25 cents contribution towards school district capital funding that comes to us every year. It's just that that's not nearly enough to generate the revenue that we would need to bond for this large of a project. At the state level, obviously, there's much more capacity to be able to do that. So AB 224 calls for state level bonding funds to be placed into a fund that already exists through previous legislation to assist rural school districts and school districts in need of funding to help with capital types of projects. There's just been no money in that funds for 25, 26 years. So how has this been met from legislators? This bill had its first hearing in Government Affairs a week ago on Monday. We had a number of questions from legislators. And they know the need. They know that this is a problem. And it's not just a problem in White Pine, it's a problem in other rural districts as well. Basically any district of our size or smaller is just never going to be able to afford to generate the funds to build a school on their own. So I think the individuals that were on this committee and others that I have spoken with, they understand that that's a problem. And they're willing to work to be a little bit creative to try to help, because recognizing that students going to a 1913 school, it's not equitable, and state being a core function, education being a core function of the state. If a local district is not able to do this, what is the state's role in helping? The bill was heard last Monday. I think we got some real favorable responses. We had a number of public comments that were people speaking in support of this bill. So we'll see what happens with it in Government Affairs. It'll probably go to Ways and Means as well, and then we'll see what happens.
What were some of the creative suggestions that came from the legislators?
Yeah, well, they appreciated that this particular approach from Assemblymember Mosca wasn't kind of a rehash of things that have been done, not just by White Pine, but of other rural districts in the past, of just, carve out some money from the general fund when, to your point, everybody knows that there is no money in the general fund right now. I'll say that the Commission on School Funding has recommended tax policy change for a number of educational reasons, but school construction is among those. There still doesn't seem to be a will in the legislative body to tackle that at this point in time. So the greatest point of appreciation, I think, was just towards Assemblymember Mosca in saying, oh, nobody's really ever thought of doing it this way before. If the state has the capacity to sell these bonds, the money can be deposited into this fund that already exists, this existing mechanism. There's just been no money in it. And then the school district is able to contribute $10 million, $12 million through its own resources. Then maybe this is a new model for a local and a state partnership to approach this in a way that's not been done in the past.
All right, let's take a break and we'll come back and we'll talk about possible consequences here on both sides. We'll be right back with the school superintendent of White Pine County, Adam Young, after this timeout.
The Nevada Builders Alliance has been protecting the interests of the construction industry for over 50 years. Our programs save members thousands of dollars every year and allow them to provide much-needed benefits to their employees. Our industry also allows Nevada to grow. If you're thinking about a career in the construction industry, reach out. And if you haven't thought of a career in construction, what are you waiting for? We are the Nevada Builders Alliance.
The trucking industry is the most resilient link in the supply chain, moving 95% of our freight in the Silver State. And while essential, the road isn't always smooth. Supply chain disruptions, rising fuel costs, and unrealistic rules and laws that hamper our ability to serve our customers and country. Our prosperity and every sector of the economy, manufacturing, mining, medicine, and food from farm to table, is tied to trucks. There's nothing without trucking.
A power line is more than a power line. It's maintaining the bottom line for small businesses. It's keeping the assembly line moving for our workforce. For our brightest minds, it's meeting a deadline. It's on the front line with our heroes. And on the sidelines of the biggest games. It's a direct line to our loved ones. And it's a lifeline for the most vulnerable. There's a lot on the line.
Pro Group Management offers workers' comp services to a growing number of industries. As businesses grow and change with the times, the need for a solid workers' comp program must be flexible and up to date. The evolving nature of regulations can make staying ahead of complex tasks challenging. But Pro Group Management simplifies the work so your industry can move forward and succeed. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Adam Young. He is the school superintendent of the White Pine County School District and talking about the needs for a school that was built in 1913. So share with us some of the problems with that building, apart from asbestos, obviously.
So last Monday, we had 3 of our student leaders make the trip to Carson City with the support of their families to offer testimony in support of AB 224. One of those young men recently broke his leg and had a full leg cast on that allowed for obviously very, very limited mobility. His family made the choice that it would be a little bit too risky for him to navigate these 3 flights of stairs every day. And so they decided to keep him home and had our teachers support him through a distance learning model over the course of the last probably 6 weeks or so. Previously, we have had students who have been amputees who have had to navigate these 3 flights of stairs. We've also had students in wheelchairs. There's one ADA accessible point in this campus, and it only goes to the bottom floor. So for students in wheelchairs, we bring them in through this one entrance, which is down by the gym, which is, again, structurally unsound at this point in time. We bring them to the bottom floor, and then if the students in 6th grade, we move all of their 6th grade instruction, all of the 6th graders, all of the 6th grade teachers to that bottom floor, and we hold 6th grade on floor 1. When the student moves into 7th grade, we swap all of that around, and the 6th graders, the new 6th graders go to the 2nd floor, and all of the 7th graders and their teachers come down to the bottom floor, etc. And so while we have a lot of workarounds, and our families and students have been incredibly grateful and supportive of these workarounds, in the end, I think the argument could be made that this is incredibly inequitable and that it needs to change. And once again, coming in and building an elevator or wheelchair accessibility, while it might be a $2 or $3 million project on its own, once the asbestos comes out and once the things start to have to come up to code that are not currently, that turns into a $15 or a $20 million project. So that's just one example.
Okay, let's take one more break and we'll be right back.
Like a traditional handmade basket, retail is woven into the fabric of life in Nevada. From big box to mom and pop, retail supports our communities in countless ways. Jobs for the disabled, team uniforms for kids, help for the elderly, and so much more. Retail employs over 1 in 10 workers. Retail supports Nevada, and we support retail.
RANNV.org.
Carson Valley Inn, it's your place for the good times. Carson Valley Inn.
Welcome to Story County, where history meets innovation, and a pioneering spirit continues to shape our future. At the heart of the Tahoe Reno Industrial Center, we power the future with global leaders in technology and manufacturing, driving progress that reaches far beyond our county lines. From advanced manufacturing to tech innovation, our industries are creating thousands of quality careers, fueling a vibrant economy that benefits every Nevadan. But it's more than just growth. Our community is our foundation, supporting families, empowering local initiatives, and creating a place where everyone belongs. Be part of a legacy built on bold ideas and boundless possibilities. Join us in building a brighter future right here in Story County. Story County, helping build Nevada's future.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with Adam Young. He's the school superintendent of the White Pine County School District. So here's my question, which is, what happens if the funding isn't available? What's your fallback plan?
I appreciate that question, and I'll try to give the best answer I can. We are going to continue to serve students and do everything that we can to meet their needs. We're also thinking about what does come next, talking with the attorneys, talking with the civil rights advocates, and figuring out if there needs to be a little bit of pressure, more than what we're already doing, placed on our government officials so that they really understand the scope of the problem out here in White Pine.
And that's where we have to leave it. I wish you the best of luck. It's going to be a tough session financially, but we'll keep our fingers crossed for you. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thanks for having me, and it's just a pleasure to speak with you.
Thank you, sir, and we'll be right back.
Each day, the Children's Advocacy Alliance partners with leaders, legislators, and families across Nevada to improve children's health, education, economic well-being, and safety. We recognize Nevada will be no better than the state of its children. Be a part of this change. Be a supporter of the Children's Advocacy Alliance. For more information, go to caanv.org.
Imagine a magical garden that feeds Carson City's hungry and homeless, teaches our high school students agriculture, creates hanging floral displays to beautify downtown, and yet charges nothing. It's not magic. It's the Greenhouse Project. It's real, it's growing, and it needs your help. Go online to carsоncitygreenhouse.org so together we can grow it forward.
Save money and take transit. Did you know you can ride the bus all day for less than what it would cost you for a gallon of gas? Plan your trip now by going to rtcwashoe.com.
When in Carson City, Nevada Newsmakers records in the conference room of the Nevada Builders Alliance. Coverage of the 2025 legislative session is brought to you by Pro Group Management, Workers' Comp that works for you. NV Energy, proudly serving Nevada, providing electricity to 2.4 million electric customers. The Retail Association of Nevada, looking out for business. And by Story County, helping build Nevada's future.
Thanks for watching Nevada Newsmakers, come to you from Carson City, from the headquarters of the Nevada Builders Alliance. We'll see you on the next broadcast. Thanks for watching.